Coming off the heels of a very tumultuous event yesterday, this is McCoy welcoming you back to the TLT podcast. I am joined by my co-host,
PokeArt 2004.
Alright, so let's shift gears now and let's move on to something a little more friendly. Let's more of a friendly environment. So last time we covered round 1 recaps. Well, actually, no, we're gonna cover round 1 recaps and then we predicted round 2. Today we're gonna be reviewing round 2 and doing round 3 predicts. So round 2 had some interesting things that developed over the course of the week that may or not be indicative of what's going to happen in the future. A lot of good people left, a lot of good people stayed in, a lot of interesting things have happened. So let's review them all one by one and see where it gets us. Also, I apologize, this video is coming out a bit later than expected. We were literally locked in.
I don't think that's the right word.
Well, we're going to be more locked in now as we progress through this tour.
That's a lie.
Well, let's move on now, shall we? First off, in the round 2 matchups winners bracket, no one has been bolded yet, unfortunately, because the thread isn't updated. That's okay. We already know who won. So let's go through them, shall we? First off, in the winners bracket, number 1 seed, Let's Rumble, shall we, lost to number 16 seed Tempo de Anguria in 3 games, no less. First game played was RU, where it was actually a very close matchup. Both players actually absolutely played to the best of their abilities, and I
think Hellray could have, in theory, played a bit more aggressively, but it worked out. So I can't really complain too much about how he played.
It did work out, and he brought some interesting sets to go along with it. First of all, he went immediately for the advantage right around turn 10 by defeating Bisharp right as he switched in Bisharp to do a Focus Blast, which immediately took out Bisharp, one of Tempo's more reliable mons, since the threat of Zoroark is now no longer an issue, along with Reuniclus. And also DNC as well. He also got to knock off Cyclizar's Assault Vest and used Suicune to do what Suicune normally does, which is to outstall most of Tempo's attacks very nicely.
Pressure stalling, to be specific.
Yeah, he really used that pressure to his advantage, and rest talking along the way. After Noivern crit killed Cyclizar...
Wait, rest talking?
Well, no, rest. Well, rest and stalling, not rest talking specifically.
Yeah, it doesn't have sleep talk.
No, it used substitute scald and rest. It didn't rest talk, it rest stalled.
Yes.
And then, after Noivern crit killed Cyclizar around turn 42, Tempo tried to come back with Volcanion using Suicune, killing Suicune with...
Wait, Noivern crit killed Cyclizar?
Turn 42. Managed to get a crit kill on it.
Didn't matter, and for another record, that was Zoroark.
Oh, illusion. Even wore off even me. So, Tempo...
Because for the extra record, the previous turn, it was Hyper Voice and did 59 without a crit.
That's how strong Zoroark is. Okay. Especially...
Or how weak Cyclizar is once its assault vest is knocked off.
That's true too. That's true too. So Tempo did try to come back. Volcanion got to kill Suicune with Sludge Wave after a while, and then Zapdos ended up killing Noivern. However, the final turn saw Hellray use the Terrestrial Reuniclus coming back in, using Psychic Noise to beat Amoonguss on the final turn, crit killing it with Psychic Noise to win the game for Hellray.
The only the only criticism I have for Hellray is that maybe he could have attacked with Noivern a bit more, but he didn't.
I mean, he was passively playing with Noivern a bit more after Zoroark
but I suppose he just felt it wasn't needed, and I guess it wasn't needed.
It wasn't really needed at that point, and
might have sped things up, but I suppose it wasn't needed.
I mean, Reuniclus ended up being the win con, so...
Oh, and I guess he, and I guess he couldn't afford to have his Noivern paralyzed. I guess that's
definitely
another
not.
thing.
Speed is a crucial stat on Noivern, so... Next is...
Yeah, he played well.
Next is Ubers, where Tempo actually came back here with Webs, a Webs team of all things, allowing Eternatus to beat Necrozma with Fire Blast, and Arceus Ground getting to set up Calm Mind to beat Necrozma with Judgment. Once it tried to boost up Sword Stance. Hellray then had a crucial miss here at turn 13. Or 12.
A game-costing miss. A game-costing miss.
Or turn 12, exactly. I was one turn off, but... The turn that mattered here was the Koraidon's Scale Shot, missing the Arceus allowing Tempo to...
Not only would that have killed, but it would have sped up the Koraidon and allowed it to potentially, do stuff.
Yeah, it would have it would have removed the -1 speed that he got from Webs.
Truthfully, looking at the rest of Tempo's team, I don't think the Koraidon miss, I don't think if it hit, I don't think the outcome changed.
Zacian.
But it made a hard game impossible.
Yeah, definitely, and yeah, it could have removed that, at least that -1 speed nature that he had, resulting in a neutral. But yeah, it would have been still very hard to win given the Zacian is still there. But he would have at least outsped everything else. Maybe his own Koraidon. Actually, no. Maybe if this was Scarf Koraidon, if Tempo brought Scarf Koraidon, maybe it still would have been game for Tempo either way.
Yeah, I still think Tempo probably won this even without that miss, but yeah, it turned, like I said before, it turned a hard game into an impossible one.
So Arceus Water started setting up, killing Lunala and
Arceus
Dialga.
Ground that Terra watered.
Yeah, Terra Water, Arceus Ground that set up Calm Mind, beat the Lunala, beat the Dialga, and basically...
It swept.
And then UU happened, where Tempo started off encoring the Dawn Fan and getting to set up rocks in the process. Terra ghosting it later to block off any sort of rapid spin attempts, the Tinkaton, I mean. It got to Terra Ghost that and got to block off its rapid spin attempt before Okidogi managed to poison it and left it to be sacked later. And after Azumarill crit killed the Hydrapple on turn 27, Excadrill. Wait, does it turn 27? Yeah, turn 24 after the Azumarill quick killed the Hydrapple. Excadrill then counteracted by killing it with Earthquake. Hoopa then killed Gudra Hisui with Hyperspace Fury before Tornadus got to beat Ogerpon with Focus Blast. Focus Blast really hitting a lot in both UU and RU. So Tempo immediately won the game by that point, and that was that.
I think Inertial misplayed in the end. I'm not sure if this quite changed it, but in theory, if instead, what turn was it? Right, I think it was this. After Gudra died, if he instead sent in Ogerpon and terrored it, giving it the +1 fence, would he have won? Because then Tempo wouldn't have been able to switch out, or if he did, then the Torn would just die.
Oh, because Hoopa's physically frail. Tornadus easily loses to Ivy Cudgel. Yeah, he might have had the advantage.
Yeah, the Hoopa would have died, well, it's either the Hoopa dies, or he switches in Torn, and that dies, or...
He would have gone
either way, that's pretty good in my opinion. I don't know, though. I don't know if he did that, he would have won. It depends on the calcs.
Then again, Tornadus does outspeed, but then again, Hoopa was out on the field by that point, so...
Let me see something. Concern is actually if Hoopa kills the Ogerpon when it's at +1. 52. And never mind, that play didn't change anything.
Still would have lost Ogerpon.
Hyperspace Fury does at least 53 every time.
So Ogerpon still would have died.
Yeah.
Alright. Well, alright.
I guess
letting Okidogi sack and then bringing in, I don't know.
I guess letting the Ogerpon get chipped by Torn then was bad, but I can't really blame him for that misplay. I mean,
not really, no.
It would take some pretty incredible foresight to realize that could end you.
Yeah, you would have had to make some incredibly risky plays in order to win. But still, good win for Tempo. This matchup I predicted right, and glad to see Tempo move on and continue to impress people.
The only thing I can see being maybe different and leading to a inertial win is if instead of Ivy cudgeling when the Tornadus U-turn, he called the switch and Horn Leeched.
Yeah, that would have made things a lot better for inertial.
Yeah, Ogerpon would be more than healthy enough later to tank and win.
Tank the Hyperspace Fury and then win. Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, next up, your game. You versus Terracotta, which was actually the last game played.
We didn't even play that late this time. Everyone else just played early.
Everyone else played early. You guys played at the 7 hours before the deadline, but it's still the last game played. So, Ubers was pretty hard. Well, actually, no. You were definitely victimized by one particular mon in this matchup. So... Two. Okay, I see what you mean. You did try to get some early progress in, trying to set up the spikes and toxicking Hoa with Gliscor, which I think was, it was a good play on your part. You managed to...
I didn't really have great ways to break Ho-Oh otherwise.
Toxicking was the correct play.
I mean, my Ho-Oh breaks his Ho-Oh, but his Ho-Oh breaks my Ho-Oh, so it's not exactly a good option.
Well, you had to defy
for
the constant
Ho-Oh, I
switchings.
think.
Yeah, but you had to defy from the constant switchings, but yeah.
Also, I freaking misclicked turn 2. Couldn't set up spikes early.
Yeah,
or toxic early, which I might have done had I gotten the chance to actually think about what I was gonna do for that turn.
I might have glitched in the system, but who knows. But anyway, yeah, turn 20 was kind of the crucial play, the crucial misplay, as you mentioned. In turn 20, you tried to set up Swords Dance against the Calm Minding Kyogre. But then you clicked Ice Beam, and that forced your Koraidon to die. I know what you were expecting. Oh, maybe he's trying to set up another Calm Mind or something. Or maybe
No, I was hoping he would switch.
I see. Trying to get some early setup in, trying to get some flame charge in. Okay.
Yeah, I guess.
But then the other problem came with the very notable problem came. There's the Arceus Electric who got to come in. You burned the thing, which ended up hurting you in the long run. Setting up the Calm Mind and then just sweeping you with Judgment and Ice Beam against your Gliscor. So yeah. Also Terror Flying as well, just to protect you from Earthquake.
Yeah.
So that was Uber's. Double, though, you cut it kind of close, but you did kind of cut it close towards the end, but it was still very hard for you to win by that point. So you guys started trading off kills at the beginning. Chiyu missed a Heat Wave for Ursaluna to kill it.
Then, I wasn't scared of Heat Wave. That I don't think that mattered.
But then
that was an Assault Vest Ursaluna, so
that's more beneficial to you then. And then
I didn't care about Heat Wave.
So then
that missed, but I didn't care about if it hit.
So, but then Ursaluna didn't die to CC to Iron Hands. And then Farigiraf got to crit the Ogerpon, and Iron Hands got to close combat the Tyranitar. And then Terra decided to continue the momentum by tailwinding that Tornadus, following with an Earthquake crit on Amoonguss, following a double kill on Bleakwind Storm shortly after. And then towards the end, you mentioned GG, and then you asked, why are you saying GG right now?
Yeah, because it wasn't GG yet. He was under the impression it was because he thought my Ogerpon was too low and would die to rocks. That's why he thought it was GG.
But it wasn't, because Ogerpon...
Yeah, my endgame was ideal. My endgame position, anyway.
The Qianpao Ogerpon going up against everything else was a very good thing. However, you had to contend with the fact that Terra had Intimidate, and had to contend with that a lot, as Goldango got to set up the nasty plot and beat your entire team at the end.
I don't consider Golden Go to be the reason I lost.
No, again, I just said Intimidate was your biggest hurdle going into that endgame. Because you had the fact that you have 2 physical mons. You had a harder time gaining some purchase and gaining some sort of win advantage by that point.
I won if I simply predicted the switches correctly, which I could have, but I wasn't really in it.
You basically just... I wouldn't say that. I mean, you still maybe could have won that, but yeah.
What do you mean you wouldn't say that?
Well, again, it was just all a matter of can you predict this right? So I'm just echoing your statement, basically.
Yes, and if you're disagreeing with the fact that I just said I wasn't really in it, then you're wrong.
Well, okay. Well, the fact that you lost to Terra, don't get too disappointed now, because you are still in it. You are still in the losers bracket, and hopefully you can rest easy with this one.
I wasn't in it then. I didn't do any prep.
Well, hopefully now you have gained a little bit more prep. Hopefully. Next up, we have SV Valor being beaten by Taking Notes Kinda. First was, I believe it was Ubers that got played first.
I think so.
Yeah, I think Ubers got played first because Taking Notes Kinda, he did post his replays out of order. I think Ubers got played first because this one was...
it was Ubers, RU, and UU last.
Yeah. So Ubers was first, both starting off with big damage already being set on the playing field with that, or for example, that Corridon U-turn against that Deoxys speed. That should give you any indication. Deoxys then lost to Arceus Water via Judgment. Zacian got to beat Corridon with Behemoth Blade, and Corridon beat Screamtail with Flare Blitz before losing to Brave Bird Ho-Oh. Alright. SV Valor thought that he choked the game by predicting the Terra, but TNK counteracted, but he almost swapped out with... Then came one of the big MVPs of this game, which was the Terrifier Kyurem Black. That really put the pressure against the Necrozma, where TNK got to Oko crit the Necrozma Duskmane with Terra Blast before defeating the Terra Poison Arceus Water with Fusion Bolt and Icicle Spear. And Clodsire shortly followed suit and died shortly after for TNK to win the game. So it was good, solid, Uber's fun. RU was next, and this one was wacky. Both, wait a minute. Yeah, both, see the team Valor brought, it was fully into HO, as well as Taking Notes Kinda brought Grassy Terrain HO. With some sweet...
So basically, one brought good HO and the other brought bad HO.
Suicune Necrozma. What do you mean bad? More uncommon, but bad?
Well, this particular team, yeah, pretty much.
Alright, well, Valor got to beat the Suicune almost immediately. It was also Grassy Seed. Grassy Seed Suicune, who lost to Azelf's Thunderbolt, and chipped the Oricorio to 1%. It was not Focus Sash Oricorio. It was just the min roll. It was not the min roll. It was not the max roll. Before losing to Cleavor's Quick Attack. Cleavor bringing Quick Attack. Then Grafai started to set up, but only had Acrobatics against Bisharp, which was really, really unfortunate. I assume that last move was Gunk Shot.
Probably.
Lost it to Ironhead, and Lilligant Hisui missed a Leaf Blade on turn 13. Taking Notes kinda just really had an unfortunate matchup here. Losing that to Ironhead.
Yeah, and I guess he didn't have any Terras that helped him win.
Maybe if that Lilligant Hisui hit the Bisharp, maybe he could have Terra'd. I don't know which Terra, but
Yeah, I feel like the Lilligant could have done something if it had more of an opportunity.
Yeah, and then the Necrozma got chipped before TNK forfeited. Valor won RU very handily. And then UU was next, where Valor brought Stall, and Taking Notes kinda brought normal UU, normal Sand UU. Samples. T and K started off the stronger, using Hydrapple to set up Nasty Plot, outmatching Blissey for once. Finally something against the special wall, am I right?
Yes.
Damaging it with Giga Drain very heavily, as well as doing damage to Clodsire via Earth Power before being poisoned by Poison Sting. Poison Sting Clodsire was a presence here, which we've said that we honestly get, right?
Yeah, for its purpose, I get it.
Yeah, got to poison Hydrapple very nicely, and defeating the two, and Okoing Sinistra. Got to Oko Sinistra after a +1 on Combine. Lost it to Draco Meteor. Tornadoes then crit killed Terra Steel Mandibuzz before Keldeo finished off Skarmory and Toxapex for TNK to win the game. And yeah, Toxapex survives a crit surf at 55, losing 55% with Keldeo against Keldeo.
That didn't matter. It 2-hit KO'd either way.
Yeah. So well done to TNK. Hopefully it'll be more of a presence in the winner's bracket. Next up, though, we have Wesh Papillon versus El Cap KD. Where Wesh Papillon handily handed El Cap his ass in 2. First off, it's Ubers, and you know exactly what he brings. Webs versus Stall. He was not even trying to do some unique team or whatnot. He just straight up wanted to stall El Cap's HO. And quite well, too. Then the Necrozma, El Cap tried to do some things. For example, the Stone Edge on Skarmory with Necrozma, failing to kill it though. And Wesh spent the majority just setting up spikes and toxic spikes and just all of the hazards to kill Rabombi in the end. And then Dondozo, who was a good bring here, tanked a Wild Charge for Zacian to die via recoil, and tanked Arceus' E-Speed attempts by cursing and liquidation to do damage, killing it before dying to Rayquaza's Dragon Ascent, allowing Garganacl to switch in after. Any other thoughts with this game, Pokeart?
Not really.
Wesh, you stall in 1. You. It was more of the same. It really was more of the same.
Yeah.
Skarmory, once again, was used very effectively to tank hits, stalling out Ogerpon's Ivy Cudgel attempts and whirlwinding before setting up spikes against Bulk Up Okidogi, while Avalugg killed Donphan with Ice Spinner after the latter got rid of hazards for once. And Blissey tanked Iron Jugulus's air slash attacks before beating it with Seismic Toss. And then came the Terra Poison Skeledirge, who burned the Okidogi, and Blissey outstalled Greninja's attempts, and Seismic tossed it before LCAP forfeited. Two very, very identical games for Wesh to win.
Yep.
Next up is a 2-game series that I was honestly surprised about. I really thought this would be a 3-game series, but unfortunately, wasn't the case. Colored Name versus Rafna. So, LC. They brought some Colored Name brought some good brings, and Rafna more of the traditional LC synths. First of all, the crit on Mienfoo with Earthquake was pretty dire at turn 2, but Rafna counteracted by killing the Mudbray with Knockoff, while Colored Name killed Rafna's Mudbray in return with Mienfoo's high jump kick. Hilarious. The Mudbray and the Mienfoo had some really weird wars in the first few turns of this game. After the two traded off kills, Rafna kept his Elekid in check, beating the Mienfoo and the Vullaby before Colored Name used the Terra Ground Torchic to beat it with Terra Blast and burn Vullaby in return. I think, Terra Ground Torchic is a good Elekid counter.
Yeah, I mean, it's good in general.
Mm-hmm.
It's better than Terra Grass.
It's better than Terra Grass. The final turn saw Torchic trying to play some mind games against the Terra Dark Stunky Sucker Punch, trying to catch that potential Sucker Punch into a attack, but Rafna ended up using Knockoff instead to win the game. And then next was Ubers, where it was a very long and a very dull first 40 turns. We got both Ho-Ohs trying to knock out both Eternituses really early on, whirlwinding any Meteor Beam attempts, and then setting up spikes with Tinglu, until finally a kill didn't happen until turn 54 with Brave Bird. So, good on Rafna for finally taking the advantage and beating that low health Eternatus with Brave Bird. And then Colored Name just started gradually losing Mons after the fact. Ho-Oh beat Koraidon in a crucial Terra-Firing on Necrozma on turn 72 against the Arc Water, dying to its Life Orb, and Rafna's Calyrex Terra-Fired and swept the rest with Glacial Lance. Any other thoughts?
No. Sorry, I was just a little distracted because an alarm was going off in my place. If you heard some quiet beeping in the background, I don't know if you did.
It wasn't audible, so I didn't hear.
Well, my door's closed and it wasn't that loud, but I heard it, and I get a little anxious every time I hear it, because if no one deals with that for about 50 or so seconds, a very loud alarm sounds, and I hate it with all my being.
Sounds like my phone every time an earthquake or a rainfall alarms.
Oh no, it's a lot louder.
I know. Anyway,
like,
yes.
It'll actually damage your hearing.
Oof. I wouldn't want to live near that. But yeah, Rafna picked up the win very convincingly after the fact. So we'll be seeing him more on the winners bracket. Next up is Polo Ariosto versus Arcanine 1929. So the first game was actually LC, which Arcanine won. A running pattern along these round 2 games where the first winner usually wins the first game, and then the other two times the other guy just sweeps. It's been a running trend.
Yeah, although I think a lot of people didn't quite expect this. I think most people expected Polo to take LC and Arcanine to take the others. Instead, the exact opposite happened.
And yes, well, starting off with LC, which is the favorable Polo tier, Arcanine actually started off well here, using Mudbray to tank Vullaby's Brave Bird attempts to beat it with Stone Edge, and using his own Vullaby to beat Polo's Mudbray and knock off Shelter's Eviolite. Arcanine then continued the momentum, living off the Gothita's Psychic with Glamette to poison beat it with Sludge Bomb. And then the Terra Water Fungus got lost. Fungus finishing off Meanfu. And yeah, Arcanine just ended up winning. Not a lot.
Yeah, I think Polo could have played that better.
He really could have. But Arcanine had the win there. Very nicely. RU was next. So, Polo had the edge as soon as the Gujar Hisui tanked the Armor Rouge's Armor Cannon to immediately beat it with Draco Meteor. Or chip it heavily, I mean. And Fezandipity, despite being paralyzed. And then it took Armor Rouge's Psyshock very well to beat it with U-Turn. Actually, no, the Fezandipity was actually very paralyzed, and then it took Armor Rouge's Psyshock before beating it with U-Turn very nicely. And then Gastrodon beat Empoleon via the Rocky Helmet. Crocodile finished off Zoroark, and Gujar Hisui beat the Terra Water Amoonguss. Yeah. After Zoroark died, the Amoonguss tried to do some damage against the Crocodile, couldn't do it, Giga Drain, and then lost immediately to the Gujar Hisui. Got to beat the Crocodile before losing to Gudra very well. And then doubles happened, where Arcanine had a very favorable first turn, Terragrassing the Glamora and Okoing Tornadus with Meteor Beam, but Polo counteracted by killing it and Ogerpon with his own Glamora and Chien Pao, respectively.
Yeah, in the case of the Glamora, that was a speed tie that Arcanine unfortunately lost.
And they were both a Tailwind too, so it was literally down to a speed tie by that point, and they lost. Chien Pao then O-Code Landorus through Intimidate, and Polo Terra Watered Landorus to withstand Chiyu's Heat Wave, and Tornadus' Icy Wind to double KO it with Rock Slide, winning against Chien Pao for Polo to win the game. Apparently this was the exact same turnout that Arcanine suffered as last year, so very unfortunate for Arcanine to fall at this exact same stage.
Oh, right. Wait, fall at the exact same state?
Well,
What do you mean?
Well, he said that it was the exact same as last year. And what does he mean by exact same? Maybe it's the fact that he lost at doubles the exact same way? I don't know.
Maybe it's more like he just lost for the first time in round 2. I don't know.
Well, we can try to speculate all we want. That's what the comments are for. Alright. Next up, we have Excelsior versus Not an Hacker, where Excelsior won in 2. LC was first off, and Axel kind of dominated Not an Hacker in LC. We talked about in the predictions where, you know, who both players main LC, but Excelsior, but it just comes down to the fact that who is stronger in LC, and Excelsior bodied Not an Hacker here, for lack of a better term.
Yeah.
First using Glimmet to beat Vullaby via a crit power gem, then winning against Hacker's own Glimmet. And despite losing Fungus to a crit knockoff from Corfish, Terra Fighting Mienfoo just swept through everything else with close combat kills on Chinchou and Numel. Numel is a good bring. It is a legitimate threat. It's just not used in the correct situation.
Yeah, it's a bit niche.
Well, again, it could be good. It could be good in the right situation, but in here it's not.
Yeah, that's kind of what niche is.
Yeah. Next is UU, where Hacker did try to gain some sort of leverage, paralyzing the Tornadus with Slowking's Thunder Wave, and taking advantage of Axel misclicking by paralyzing Greninja. Yes, Axel did misclick at one point. He was trying to go for, let's see if we can find it. Oh, there it is, turn 9. The Greninja tried to surf.
Right.
Slowking,
yeah, the misclick was surf.
Yeah, got paralyzed instead by Thunder Wave. And after setting up hazards for a long time, it got to beat Greninja with Weavile. However, Axel counteracted, played extremely well up to the point after Greninja died, got to remove the hazards very effectively with Rapid Spin, and set up the Iron Defense Skarmory and body pressed the rest to win the game for him. Like, the combination of hazards and the fact that Skarmory was body pressed and just attacking everything won Axel the game. So good job, Excelsior. Could be a legitimate threat in the winner's bracket if he continues to play at this momentum. He could rival the likes of Wesh or Rafna.
Well, his next round opponent is Brain.
Segueing nicely here. Brain damage, Haver, whatever, versus Batty Games, where, yes, Brain won in 3. Surprised? I was. Until I saw the game, and I felt really bad for Batty.
Yeah.
Let's start off with LC, though. LC, Batty started off using the Terra Water Fungus to tank Vullaby's Brave Bird hits and sporing it. However, he did miss a Stone Edge on turn 11, allowing Vullaby to remove the hazards with Defog. Well, it got to beat it with close combat, but still it got to remove the hazards for both sides of the field. Brain then continued the momentum using Tinkatink's Ice Hammer to beat Mudbray, and Fungus tanked Gothita's Psychic to crit kill it with Sludge Bomb, poisoning the Fungus with Gunk Shot Stunky, and even critting Shelter with Knockoff on turn 33. Things weren't just going Batty's way. Brain capitalized it. And won. So yeah, I felt really bad for Brain here, but a win's a win, I guess.
Yeah.
Doubles. Batty had a much better turnout here. He started off well, blocking off the overheat attempts by Chi Yu at numerous times, even getting to dodge Raging Bolt's Draco Meteor attempt and tanked Woodhammer from Rillaboom with Landorus to let it die to recoil, and then Terra Dragoning the King Gambit to resist Chi Yu to kill it with Kowtow Cleave. I thought that was some nice plays there. And most of Batty's remaining low health mons then started to pick up kills. King Gambit getting to Sucker Punch the Tornadus, and then Landorus getting kills on both Incineroar and Goldango, before putting Raging Bolt to sleep, beating it with Thunderbolt, winning the game for Batty. It was a much better turnout. And then OU came next, and yeah, some shenanigans happened.
Very bad matchup to start with.
It was a very bad matchup, but things just didn't go his way here. Terra Grounding Kyurem was a good start, to trying to deal damage to the Iron Crown. Okay. Clodsire got to set up rocks. However, Iron Crown did survive, and Terra Steeled to beat the King Gambit with Tachyon Cutter. And then Moltres' Flame Body got to burn the Zamazenta, even if Brain was trying to go for Will-O-Wisp. It was still guaranteed.
I was gonna say, that doesn't really matter.
Yeah, because he was gonna get the burn.
It anyway.
He's gonna try to get it burned anyway, but yeah, the burn was there, and forcing he had rest, so he has ways of dealing with it. However, he had to switch out at some point to try to beat the Brain was using the switch, tried to switch in a lot to tank the body press and the crunch attempts, forcing Batty to just rest off, and then try to attack there. And then Clefable tried to set up Calm Mind against Iron Crown. It was hard to win by that point. It was a pretty impossible matchup. So Batty forfeited and Brain won. Any other thoughts?
Nope.
So I feel bad for Batty. Brain gets to move on to the next hurdle of the winner's bracket. Can Brain's continued momentum ride the hype that he has been getting?
I don't think so, because Excelsior's been prepping a whole ass week in advance.
This man came prepared. Alright, let's now move on to the loser's bracket, and perhaps the biggest surprise we've had all tour. In the loser's bracket's first matchup, we have Streak Boom beating Balor. It was in very unfortunate circumstances, but the results show that Streak Boom beat Balor. Well, first is OU, and Balor absolutely clobbered Streak Boom. Goldango, Thunderwave, and Hex combo. Oko's Iron Crown, Dark Pulse from Darkrai beating Goldango, and Terra Poisoning to beat Primarina with Sludge Bomb, beating Enamorus before Raging Bolt finished off Moltres. So yeah, this was a really dominating display by Balor. Shows you who really is the OU boss around here. But then things came to a crashing halt in Ubers. After some back and forth, Koraidon was then burned on turn 18, but still did enough to beat Gliscor, seemingly still giving Balor the advantage here. While Streak did try to hold his own, it was very clear that even despite, Streak being 6 and Balor being 5, there the game was still pretty much in Balor's favor, all things considered. Street was having a hard time dealing with hazards and only got to remove it thanks to the Terrifier Great Tusk's attempts to rapid spin. And he even burned the Arceus Fairy with Arc Water's Will-O-Wisp, but that didn't really do much because it only had Judgment. Yeah, it got to heal and got to crit at one point on turn 46 before it eventually died. But then comes the unfortunate turn that happened. Turn 59. I turn you. Where Balor sends out it King Gambit. And you think, oh, King Gambit is about to kill people with the Terra Dark and the Supreme Overlord ability. You'd think that's gonna beat Eternatus, let alone, well, kill Eternatus, let alone chip it heavily with huge damage, right?
Yeah, I would think so.
Well, Flamethrower happened, and it got to burn the King Gambit, which was very, very unfortunate. And Balor's damage output was reduced immediately, and King Gambit immediately died. Necrozma soon followed soon after, even with a boost of Calm Mind, and Koraidon finished off the Ho-Oh. So that burn was the game-winning turn for Street. You could say it took him to the streets.
Nah.
Then came NU, where Street actually looked somewhat good here. Well, for a couple of things. He did claim the first few kills against a paralyzed Overquill with Tauros' Close Combat, and crit killed Yuxi with Muck's Shadow Sneak. And then he just kinda continued the momentum from there on against Balor's Rain team. The Terra Grass Chandelure was enough to beat Ludicolo, and Tauros' Aqua Jet was able to beat Kilowattrel and Terra Water Klefki, finishing off Basculegion with Tauros' Earthquake, winning the game for Street. Balor said, "Why me?" Yeah, I feel you, man.
Yeah, that's a pretty unfortunate way to get out of the tour.
Yeah, and he's coming in as one of the big favorites too. So that's extra hard.
As Fragment said, we gotta stop cursing the favorites.
We will continue to curse the favorites. Unfortunately,
no, I don't want any more instances of One Last Kiss losing to El Cap.
Well, we're gonna cover One Last Kiss's unfortunate outing in the losers bracket in a short bit. But next up, we have Penter versus Vaporeon DS, and oh my god, Penter really was upset about that. Yeah, Penter was really upset about the fact that you beat him in 2, and he decided, you know what, I'ma beat Vaporeon DS cleanly and handily, and beat him in the exact two tiers that I lost to.
That you lost to? What?
No, that he lost to. Like, I was portraying what Penter would have been thinking.
Well, you see, that wasn't clear with how horribly you were cutting out.
Sorry. But I hope the message was there. Penter dominated friggin' Vaporeon DS very handily. Example A, doubles OU. Look at this. Mew Snarl was able to reduce damage from Indeedee and Ursaluna's attacks, and Archaludon got to boost up with stamina before stalling out Ursaluna, dying to its own life orb, and tanking Iron Hands' hits before healing off with Sinistra's Life Dew and Hospitality. soon doing damage itself by beating Terragrass Armor Rouge with Electro Shot. Again, Armor Rouge is just way too broken in doubles, guys. How are you still allowing it? How are you? It's
okay.
What, because Iron Hands deals with it in one hit? His stamina, man. Flash Can Archaludon, then Flash Cannon Diancie, body pressed Iron Hands for Penter to win the game. It wasn't very close. To say that it was close, you would be a fool.
Yes, you would be, because like that was legitimately a 6-0 or 5-0, right?
It was an O.
Well, most games are an O, Decoy.
It's a 6-0. It's a 6-0. You're right.
Or was it a 5-0?
No,
I feel like you might have killed something.
No, it was a 6-0. No, it was a 6-0.
Damn, he really didn't kill anything?
Nope, he did not.
Wow.
Hilarious, am I right?
Oh yeah, it was. Goddamn. He was fuming.
He was fuming. I told you. He was angry. NU was next. And Vaporeon's trying to get an early advantage. Some slight early advantage against Penter. Crit killing Gastrodon at turn 6. So yes, he did get to kill something. It was just next game. And after kind of a scrafty scare, Terra ghosted Incineroar to block out its Drain Punches and beat it with Flare Blitz. However, Articuno managed to crit kill the Incineroar with Freezing Glare, and Knucklestack just took over, Terra ghosting, setting up the Iron Defense, and just body pressing. Knucklestack do be the GOAT. In this game, at least. So yeah, Penter won. Still alive in the tour, Penter is. Next up, we have Bacoa versus Geoff 97. We feel bad. We were rooting so hard for Geoff here, but unfortunately, yeah. Not only wasn't the matchup great, Geoff was just not feeling it, I think. So
yeah, she was definitely not feeling it.
So Bacoa's Kyurem immediately it was very indicative already from turn 2, where Bacoa's Kyurem already beat the Great Tusk with Freeze Dry, and then Okidogi immediately bulked up against Meowscarada before tanking its hits and beating it with Drain Punch. Then Terra Dark to be immune to Iron Crown's Psyshock attempt and beating it with Knockoff then. Rillaboom then get to beat Iron Moth, setting up the grassy terrain, and use Comfey, the dangerous Comfey, to use Grassy Seed, beat Kyurem with Draining Kiss, Kingambit finishing off Geoff's own Kingambit to win the game for Bacoa. What do you think Geoff could have done? What do you think Geoff could have done to make herself win?
TPP when you face Tempo Dianguria.
God damn it, don't remind me. That's exactly why I said the dangerous Comfey. But it was not the stored powered Comfey that we saw in TPP. It was just a normal ass Comfey lost.
Anyways, I think maybe she could have saved Great Tusk.
Yeah. She could have saved it.
In general, though, her team looked a little, not good versus Kiram.
Yeah. Her team was definitely not on the strong suit.
And I guess, that's just what you get when you run hyper offense, usually.
Guess so. LC was next, and Geoff...
Oh, yeah, she should have, used, Tachyon Cutter against Okie Dokie, probably.
You think so?
Because, if it killed, then definitely.
I mean, it's got...
Because usually they run, a lot of the time they run, Terra Fairy, so... Yeah. That one was running Terra Dark, but that's still neutral.
Yeah, I mean... It could have been a useful commodity, but... Yeah.
Oh, yeah, the Grassy Glide crit on Kiram also hurt immensely.
Yep, that was pretty bad. And yeah, it's just the matchup wasn't good afterwards.
Yeah.
Alright, LC was next, where, this is Geoff's specialty, so you'd think, she should hopefully, do some progress.
Well, she almost did, but she lost to a speed tie.
She did lose to a speed tie. Well, she tried setting up hazards with Glimmet early on, losing to Tinkatink's Flash Cannon, missed the Fire Blast on Magby, which was really unfortunate, before getting paralyzed. Things started to turn around slightly, because she got to burn the Shelter after it did a Shell Smash, and then missed the Rock Blast on the Chinchou before killing that. However, the thing got poisoned by Gunk Shot Stunky afterwards, leading to that sack. It's really unfortunate. And then, yeah, the final turns, we saw the Minfu cleaning through the Snubble cleaning through Minfu before losing to the Grookey. And Terrafair Minfu was lost to a crit Woodhammer on Terra Grass, on grassy terrain. So Bakoa won. Very, very nicely. Very nice that we get to see some of Bakoa's potential. Poor Geoff. Really could have done well here, but unfortunately she wasn't in it.
If Minfu outsped the Grookey, which it could have, I think, since it was revealed to not be Scarf, right?
It wasn't, no.
So, if Geoff outsped, she won, but she lost the speed tie. Grookey is it's 17 speed at max. Minfu is also 17 speed at max.
That was the speed tie you mentioned.
Oh yeah, and furthermore, to prove that it was a speed tie, Minfu terrestrialized first.
Yeah.
But Grookey moved first.
Yep.
Speed tie.
It was a speed tie. Alright, next up, we have One Last Kiss, one of our favorites, losing to Blood Ace in 3.
The favorites are gone.
The favorites are gone.
Where did they go?
Where did they go? Ask Cotton Eye Joe. Alright. OU was first.
Where'd he come from? Where'd he go?
Only Cotton Eye Joe knows. OU was first, and you would think that One Last Kiss would be goated here. Well, the team was pretty weird, first and foremost. The team was an interesting bring from One Last Kiss, but hey, we trust One Last Kiss. He's a great OU player. Unfortunately, that wasn't very much shown here, because Blood Ace's Landorus first taunted the Corviknight allowing Raging Bolt to come in, set up Terra Flying against the Ting Lu, beating it, and Garganackle.
The crit from Dragon Pulse was also unfortunate.
Yes, that crit on turn 6 against the Ruination. That was really unfortunate, that crit. And then Garganackle lost to the Raging Bolt before dying to the Salt Cure. And then Iron Moth decided to kill Wheezing.
I guess it wasn't to protect Garganackle, which is a bit unusual, actually.
Yeah, it is weird. Iron Moth then killed Wheezing before dying to Hoopa's Hyperspace Fury. And then Iron Valiant became useful in the final turns, killing Corviknight and encoring Zamazenta into only doing Iron Defense. So good on Blood Ace for standing up to One Last Kiss in OU.
I think the matchup was pretty poor for One Last Kiss, though.
It was.
Especially since the Zamazenta didn't seem to have Heavy Slam.
That's bad. Against an Iron Valiant? That's bad.
Yeah.
So yeah, the team was pretty weird. The matchup was poor, so One Last Kiss didn't.
I also have to wonder if neutralizing gas was intentional for the Galarian
Wheezing.
You know, yeah. I feel like those usually run Levitate in higher tiers.
I think Levitate would have been better. Yeah. Neutralizing gas would mean, okay, you got rid of what? Supreme Overlord on King Gambit, or
you get rid of Cork Drive on the Paradox ones with their booster energies, but
yeah, that's really it, I guess.
Okay.
So yeah, weird setup. Blood Ace won. PU. One Last Kiss fared much better because of a particular bring that he had, which I kind of like. There was some early unluck here in the first few turns, with One Last Kiss missing the Draco Meteor against the Meloetta, and Scyther on Blood Ace's side being burned by Flame Body after a close combat attempt. After Gastrodon managed to outstall Colossal very effectively, then comes a very cool bring by One Last Kiss. It's the Dragon Dance Terra Fairy Scrafty. Yes, by the fact that, yes, it is named after a Dawn to Dawn character, it got to absolutely sweep the Blood Ace using Drain Punch and using, actually just using Drain Punch, actually, against the Gastrodon.
Yep.
Also, he had to play with the fact that Gastrodon had been paralyzed a bit, so he took advantage of that. Also, it wasn't Terra Fairy, so what did my notes say? Hilarious. It was Terra Fairy Gastrodon, I meant.
Yeah.
I don't know why I said Terra Fairy Scrafty here.
It was... oh, you said Terra Fairy Scrafty. Yeah, silly you. No, it was the Gastrodon that was Terra Fairy with Rocky Helmet and Sticky
Hold.
Sticky Hold.
And still Scrafty was still able to beat it with Drain Punch.
Yes, the power of Dan is too powerful.
Yep. NU was next, and oh boy.
I'm sure One Last Kiss was playing what's the intro called?
Otonoke.
Yes, I'm sure One Last Kiss was playing Otonoke while sweeping with Scrafty.
It's a highly addicting song, okay? Alright, NU was next, and oh boy, things happen. One Last Kiss did start off well, tricking the Milotix's leftovers with Chandelure, and Registeel doing damage against Bellybolt and paralyzing Orthworm, and then eventually crit killing Milotic later on with Energy Ball. Then things just kinda turned around a bit with Incineroar. After Kilowattrel missed the Hurricane, Swords Dance boosted, was set up, and it got to kill it off with Knockoff. And Chandelure was then similarly killed in that same regard, and even threw a Terra Steel Florges with Moonblast, still couldn't kill it, and lost to the Incineroar yet again, and the one last gets forfeited by that point. Yeah. There goes one of our favorites, Pokeart. How it was a sad affair. Alright, next up, we have Keshba versus Fragments. Let's review
How many more do we have?
We have like 4 games left.
Oh.
Well, let's review this OU game, which probably our review is gonna last longer than the game itself. OU!
That's true.
First off, Ribambi sets up webs. Goldango sets up Nasty Plot. Oko's Iron Crown with Shadow Ball. Samurott misses Ceaseless Edge. Gets Oko'd by Thunderbolt. Keshba has lost 2 Mons, and Keshba forfeits. 4 turns.
Yeah, I don't really blame him for the forfeit, but damn.
Yeah. LC was next. Fragments started off well, burning the Meanfu with Magby's Will-O-Wisp before killing it with Fire Blast. Mudbray getting to chip Marini with Earthquake and Vullaby with Stone Edge. Diglett then died to a crit Fire Blast, didn't matter, but on turn 12, and Coughing killed Marini with Thunderbolt.
Yeah, the crit wasn't what mattered. It was the fact that the Magby won the speed tie there. Keshba lost the speed tie.
Yeah,
both were 19 speed.
Yeah, both had 19 speed, and Fragments got the better end of the deal there. And then Frags finished off by fire blasting the Tinkatink, then Terra Ghost Vullaby to kill the Mudbray, winning the game for Fragments and continuing his path through the loser's bracket. Next up, we have Ryosoken versus EQ and Crit, which would have been a neat little game. Unfortunately, it ended due to an activity call. EQ and Crit did not contact, so Ryosoken took the win. Well, we still would have predicted Ryosoken to win, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Next up was Choice Bad Kirim versus Wildfire, the penultimate game, and
the first one played, I think.
It was the first one played, and it ended in 2, and Wildfire actually won. So, Wildfire was playing on the back foot for quite a lot in the first part of this game. And it was a really long game, too, so, it was kind of a slog getting through this game. Losing Samurott early to Static Zapdos, however, he made up for it by killing it with Gliscor's Facade, and then burning Zamazenta later with Dragapult's Will-O-Wisp. Tinkaton then lost to Pecharunt after a paralysis on turn 47, but ended up getting killed by Terra Normal Gliscor, who lost to Terra Water Slowking. And then the matchup really started to favor Wildfire by the end. Using Ogerpon to bait Ting Lu, and despite losing Dragapult to a crit Dark Pulse on turn 65, got to kill Darkrai with Moltres and Slowking with Ogerpon's Ivy Cudgel, winning the game for Wildfire. And I was so confident that CBK was going to take this series. But no, UU happened. And there were some bad luck for CBK immediately. Bellybolt getting Toxic Chain by Okidogi's Close Combat was immediately the start of this UU game. And yes, there were some misses from Rotom's Hydro Pump, against multiple belly bolt attempts, but Wildfire just kind of consistently played better, managing to trap Toxapex with Magma Storm and Earth Power, and then encoring the Terra Fairy Okidogi with Bulk Up before critting it with Ivy Cudgel on turn 29, winning the game for Wildfire. Any other thoughts?
Not really.
That crit was unfortunate too, so yeah, poor CBK had to contend with a lot of unluck that happened in this game. But Wildfire also had some unluck, but he was ultimately the better player. And last...
Yeah, I guess. Sorta. Somewhat.
Somewhat, sorta. Then, final game of the series. A 3-game series between the Iron Pikachu and Seru.
Oh.
And judging from your reaction, yeah, this one was an interesting watch.
More like a painful watch for game 1 anyways.
For game 1, it was very painful. It was very painful. And the indicator was just there immediately from turn 1, dude. Turn 1 saw the Mousehold try to fake out Substitute, yes, but he started off with a Population Bomb miss. Mousehold against the sub Lando.
And it's Wide Lens Mousehold at that. So instead of having a 10% chance to miss, it had a 1% chance to miss and still did.
He still got the 1% chance. Seru got lucky on being unlucky.
No, more like monumentally unlucky.
Lucky for being monumentally
And like,
unlucky.
that's bad enough, but that wasn't even the only bad luck he got in this game.
Landers ended up killing Rillaboom, earning Ipika the advantage. Ipika then lost Rillaboom to Okidogi, which was bad for Ipika, but he made it up for it in more ways than one. Chien Pao used Icicle Crash. Spectrier ended up flinching. The Terra Fairy Spectrier ended up flinching.
Did you also go into the fact that the second time Sarah used the Population Bomb, it only hit 3 times?
Oh, that's right. Well, it wasn't...
Which was only enough to, like, break the sub and do nothing else.
Do nothing else. Yeah, because the Wide Lens was... Wide Lens being knocked off, and the fact that Population Bomb only got to hit 3 times. Yikes. Mousehold was useless.
Yeah, it's not really meant to be an attacker, but yeah, that would have done some good damage at least.
And it did not fulfill that role very well. So Chien Pao ended up flinching the Spectrier, like I said, the Terra Fairy Spectrier, and Landorus got to kill the Okidogi. Sarah forfeited by that point because the hacks was too much. Ipika won in doubles. He made up for the fact that he lost really badly in round 1.
I don't think that makes up for it.
He still came out with the L at the end despite Wing in doubles. Oh, now she's gonna lock doubles out of spite because you now said that. Alright, next up is PU, where Seru finally gained some sort of purchase here. The advantage was on his side after a miss with an Oko Bleak Wind Storm against Ipika's Tornadus. Bombardier got to knock out Gastrodon with knockoff. Ipika tried to turn it around with a Terra Ground or a Choreo, but Belly Bolt lived off a Revelation Dance and got toxic in the process. Arcanine used E-Speed to pick up kills. Electrode knocked out Gastrodon. Seru had the advantage and the win. So good on Seru for that. And then the last...
Yeah, Seru played well in PU.
In PU, yes.
And didn't get unlucky.
Yeah, he played a mostly clean game. Mostly clean. That miss from Ipika with the Torns was unfortunate in the beginning, but Seru just played it off and played well to the point.
Yeah, but like Seru then won the speed tie. That's all that.
It's a trade-off. It's a tit for tat.
I guess that was also a little unlucky for Ipika in theory, but like that's more than deserved. Come on.
Not more than deserved. It was just tit for tat. Then LC. LC was the deal breaker here. Ipika started off poisoning Elekid with Gunk Shot Tentacool and defeating Mudbray with Finizen's Boom Burst, even pickpocketing Minfu's Choice Scarf away. We got to see a lot of unique things. First Finizen and LC, and now Pickpocket being used.
What? What do you mean pickpocket?
Well, Pickpocket, Tink-a-Tink.
That's standard.
Oh. I thought...
they literally always run that.
Well, it saw use, finally, for the first time, you know?
It has seen use many times.
Well, this is the first time I'm seeing.
It has probably seen use multiple times over the course of this TLT.
Pickpocket?
Yeah.
Okay. I haven't, well, this is the first
time. It literally takes effect if you just use knockoff on it.
Okay, fine. That probably makes more sense now, when you think about it. And yeah, Trapinch then killed Marina via Earthquake, then Terra bugged to beat Wingull with Stone Edge. But then Seru missed High Jump Kick on turn 20, allowing Tink-a-Tink to beat it with Draining Kiss. Then last defeating Terragrand Vullaby with Finizen and its Surf to win Ipika the game. Ipika taking LC. Wow. Surprise. Well, she's a member of the council.
No, not really.
She's a member of the council of LCM&M.
I was surprised to see a Finizen.
Yeah, good bring actually. So that brings us to
that's according to Seru, yeah.
So that brings us to the end of round 2. Who won predictions? Who won predicciones?
Actually, calculating that right now. No, technically not a winner because you and the pick tied.
Hooray! I got
8 out of 15. I got slightly less.
Well, you didn't get to predict for your own game, but hey, we all did above average, and I actually tied with the computer, so I am technically AI.
I hope not.
Alright.
Because I hate AI.
Well, you're gonna...
More than I hate most things.
Well, you're gonna hate it, especially when we get to round 3, where we only have 8 predicts.
Yay!
Technically 7 for you, because you're actually in it.
Cool!
Alright, time to end off. First off in the losers bracket, remember, this is a double elimination tournament, so whoever loses here is automatically out, so we are gonna guarantee to have 8 losing people. We're gonna remove 8 people here. First off, Batty versus Street Boom, which actually happened.
What?
No, actually, it was before we were recording.
Oh, just before?
Yeah, just before we were before this video was being recorded, Batty versus Street Boom would have already happened. And yeah. Who do you think? Who do you think would have won?
I think it's obvious who I think would have won, but who did?
Batty won.
Okay. Thank God.
Yes, Batty won, and I would have predicted Batty to win. Despite the fact...
As would I.
Despite the fact that Street Boom beat Balor, objectively speaking, Batty's still the better player.
Yes, like, just because Street Boom beat Balor does not mean he's the better player. So naturally, the same logic applies here.
Yes, and Batty 100% showcased that earlier today with a win over Street Boom. So congratulations to Batty on that one.
The pick would have gone for Street Boom, though.
Hilarious pick. So you're already -1. No, actually, we are up 1 over you. Next up, we have Naughton Hacker versus Penter. A very curious matchup, this one.
I think Penter, to be honest. Because I think he's got a solid lock-in with doubles, as he does with most people in this tour.
Yeah, as much as I think like whatever lock Naughton Hacker tries to do, I think Penter's just going to outplay them straight up. So yeah, I'm gonna take Penter, and I'm gonna take Penter winning in 2.
Yeah, odds are like he wins doubles. So
doubles and something else.
And like odds are he's able to at least take one more game in singles.
I'm going to predict, yeah.
I think Naughton Hacker's probably slightly lesser of a player than Penter. In terms of the singles department, so yeah.
I'm going to make a bold prediction and say Penter wins in doubles and the tier Naughton Hacker locks.
Damn.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Penter, again, I said, whatever Naughton Hacker locks, Penter is just going to be objectively the better player. So, I think Penter will win. Next up, did the pick agree?
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, good on you. Alright, next up we have Bacoa versus Arcanine 1929. Two tours randos and grinders on its way to the losers bracket. Who looked the more impressive last time? Arcanine surely didn't after losing to Polo.
Yeah, but
And despite the fact that Bacoa won against Gi of 97, I don't think this is gonna turn out well for Bacoa. I think Arcanine is straight up the better player.
Yeah, I agree. Arcanine's just better.
Arcanine, I think, is straight up the better player. I think the experience really carried him from past iterations of TLT to really step up his game, and I think he's going to improve here with a win over Bacoa.
I agree.
And does Pick agree?
But the Pick doesn't. The Pick does not.
Frick. Next up, probably one of the closer matchups if you really think about it. Colored Name versus Blood Ace.
Oh yeah, this sounds very close.
This is gonna be one of those games that people are gonna think, and X is going to clobber him. But I think this one actually is gonna be very close.
I agree. I think these two players are nearly the same in terms of skill.
Yeah, performance-wise, both of them have acted the same. Both have huge, upswings in certain tiers, and they have weakness. They have both strengths that they can play off with, and good weaknesses that the other can exploit. Both of them have severely upped their game, I think, and judging by these two, I think these two have huge potential.
I don't think Colored Name actually upped their game. I think you just went in underestimating them.
Yeah, and now he's a player that I'm definitely keeping a close eye on now, as he faces a pretty established player in Blood Ace. So, what are we thinking here? So who do you go for?
Sorry, I got pinged and distracted. I'm thinking Colored Name.
You think Colored Name will take this one,
Yes.
Why is that?
I think they're good at prepping and possibly a bit better.
I think
It's a little hard to say who's better, but I think Colored Name will win.
I think it'll just depend on tiers and what they lock. It's going to be a very interesting
thing. That is true.
Thing.
I think it can. I think it might depend on tiers.
It's going to depend on tiers, and I fully, I hope this turns out to be a 3-game series. I'm going with Blood Ace on this one. I feel like if Colored Name absolutely can prep well, he might have the advantage here. And if he does, over the course of the series, the set, if you will, he outperforms in game 1, then it's fully confident that he'll take games 2 and 3 if he really preps well and plays well. But I think Blood Ace looks the stronger. After beating One Last Kiss, I think Blood Ace looks to be better. He looks to be in a much more better position than Colored Name is. So, yeah, I'm thinking Blood Ace.
Yeah, I'm still thinking Colored Name, but, it's very close, as I said.
It is very close. And what does Pick say?
The pick, however, agrees with me.
Alright, so it's picking Colored Name. Next up, from from 2 evenly skilled players to what the fuck is gonna happen? This is gonna be like RNG, isn't it? This is gonna be RNG that decides this game, isn't it?
I'm so scared.
El Cap KD versus Fragments. Oh boy. Oh boy.
Look, I don't think it's any question who we all think will win.
Yes.
But
I know. There's that nagging feeling again, Pokemon.
There's that feeling of foreboding.
There is that omen. There's that bad omen that we all have whenever it comes to LCAP.
Yeah, there's like a sense of dread in the air.
Yeah, there's a sense of dread in the air when it comes to LCAP games. So whichever ways this goes, I hope this really doesn't depend on RNG. God damn it! They will be playing Saturday, 3 p.m. -5, and the tiers are OU, UU, and DOU. All 3 tiers Fragments should be favored on, but you never know. Next up, SV...
Wait, you didn't ask what the pick said.
Oh, what did pick say?
This is the first time the pick isn't predicting for LCAP.
Oh my god, will it actually... will it actually be, the favor?
Yeah, I'm not sure what this means.
Will it actually favor LCAP, or will it won't? We'll see. Next up, we have SV Valor versus Ryosoken. I don't know. 2 relatively new players, and I don't know exactly who to vibe for.
I think I know.
You think you know? What do you know?
I think I'm predicting for S Valor.
Why do you think S Valor?
They just seem better to me, as long as they bring good teams.
Alright, so...
I think that's actually the biggest concern.
The tiers that they're going to be playing are OU, UU, and... OU, RU, and Monotype.
Oh, I think this is in S Valor's favor, then.
Yeah, okay. I'll agree with you.
I think S Valor has OU and RU. And Mono's always a toss-up.
Yeah.
Who the hell up? No.
Actually, hopefully that must have been the neutral tier. Who actually wants
Who the hell didn't ban Mono?
Who the hell actually wants to play Mono?
Who the hell wants to play Mono?
Oh boy. Well, I am gonna agree with you because I really am not sure on who to predict here. This seems 50-50 to me. But yeah, I think from the last time we saw S Valor, he did... even though that they lost, they still played in a good position for them to be favored, at least for this one. S Valor.
Yeah, I trust S Valor will outplay as long as they have good teams.
Yeah.
Look, the UU team from last week was not a good team.
So hopefully, well, they aren't playing UU this time, so hopefully different. Hopefully we see something different.
Yeah, between RU and OU, I think this looks like an S Valor win.
And mono is just mono, but yeah, S Valor win. And what does Pick say? Does it agree?
The Pick agrees.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, did you say S Valor?
I did say S Valor.
Yeah, okay. We're all saying S Valor then.
Alright, next up is your game. PokeR 2004 versus Wildfire. Wildfire looked good against Choice Bad Kyurem. But then again, they're facing Choice Bad Kyurem. So
and to think you predicted Choice Bad Kyurem to win last week, and now you're trashing them.
Yeah, well, yeah. That was a very reluctant Choice Bad Kyurem predict. So, but this time I think I'm fully confident in this week because as much as Wildfire won against Choice Bad Kyurem, I think they're still like in the beginning stages of them trying to ascend the ranks of being a good player. They are quietly improving, but I think you still take this. I think with your experience and your knowledge in quotation marks about previous rounds, I think this level of experience.
Don't forget my resources.
Well, that's on you. That's your subjective thing. But from what I've seen in this TLT at least, I think you have the clear advantage here. So we're predicting PokeR to win.
Why, thank you. I don't really want to go out round 3 again, to be honest.
You did beat
So I'm afraid I have to legally kill him.
Oh my god. You are an absolute savage. Well, you did beat Arsenine the year before, so...
Not the year before. I feel that was
the year
2
before.
or 3 years ago.
Okay, the year before, so...
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm picking PokeR to win. Does the pick stand with you?
It does.
Yeah, so everyone's on your side, PokeR. Also, like the majority.
Yo, the pick only picks me.
Yeah. Forget the picking LCAP. It's been predicting you for all of these.
Yes, this is the 3rd week in a row it's predicted for me.
Yeah. Will it actually bring success? We'll see. And
it's got a 50% success rate so far.
So it's a hit or miss. Alright, last game. This one probably is the matchup everyone's looking forward to. Let's rumble, shall we, versus the Iron Pikachu. Everyone kind of looks forward to this game, and to,
Do they think it's gonna be close?
They think it's, well, these are two very notable players in the Tours Room community, so, but I think, honestly, as much as we want to say that it's close, I don't really see that. Even in the tiers that they selected here, LC, OU, NU.
Yeah, I think it's clear who wins.
I think it's very clear who wins. As much as Iron Pikachu wants to take LC, I think Hellray just clobbers her in the latter 2 tiers. So, I think, Hellray...
Hellray can play most things relatively solidly, and that solid level of play for most things is probably better than iPika in LC.
You may not
amount of the time.
You may not be one of Hellray's like strongest tiers. He's more of an NU guy. You may not be as strong, but he plays it very much leagues better over Iron Pikachu.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you're saying that, but I think that's a game Hellray probably takes.
Yeah. I'm not denying that. I really can't deny that. Like, I think Hellray is gonna take OU and NU very comfortably. Iron Pikachu will probably take LC. So, yeah.
Yeah, she could, but, like, Hellray could easily take LC, too.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And what is Pix?
I've played LC versus both Hellray and the Iron Pikachu.
Who's better?
They don't feel that different skill-wise.
Who's better, though? Who's better?
In terms of LC, probably Ipika.
Okay. At least we gave her some sort of advantage.
I've won and lost to both of them. They're both fine in it.
At least we're giving her some sort of advantage. But, like, yeah, the rest, Hellray takes it.
Yeah, I think this should be a Hellray win.
And what does Pix say?
The Pix thinks it's a Hellray win.
Everyone is very comfortable in saying Hellray will win. Good on ya. Good on us. Anyway, that's the end. That's the end of the video. Thank you all so much for watching, and please like this video, leave a comment, and subscribe. Click that notification bell so you wouldn't miss a video once it comes out. And we'll see you next time for more TLT action. Round 3 recap, round 4 predicts. We're getting to the halfway mark of TLT 8. So thank you all for watching. Well, actually, less than halfway there, if you really think about it. Okay, anyway, thank you all for watching. This has been Mikoy, signing out.
Farewell.